Hi there and welcome to the second of my recommendation videos for 2023, my monthly attempt to get you interested in short literary works that I've particularly enjoyed. Last month the theme was Beasts Behaving Badly and I presented 3 short stories and it worked really well. Some of you went away, read the offerings, came back and gave your reaction in the comments, while others suggested other stories on the same theme that I might enjoy. Let's see how it goes this time. Once again, I've chosen 3 short stories and this time the theme is treasure. So let's begin. First up is a recent discovery I made in this book, the illustrated Robert Louis Stevenson, and it's called The Treasure of Franchard. Now, the Argentine writer Jorge Luis Borges was a huge fan of Stevenson, as am I, and he suggested in an interview that The Treasure of Franchard may just be his finest work, and I'm inclined to agree with him. And what really distinguishes this story? Well, there are 2 things. Firstly, the quality of the writing is absolutely superb, and secondly, in The Treasure of Franchard, Stevenson creates an absolutely amazing character, Dr. Desprez, and he describes him not only brilliantly in the 3rd person, but when Dr. Desprez opens his mouth and speaks, magic is the result. And I'll just read you a little to give you a taste. The context here is that previously Dr. Desprez squandered a fortune in Paris and had to relocate to the country away from temptation. However, occasionally, in a fit of melancholy, he wishes to return to the metropolis, and here he is begging his adopted son to intervene should he try and undertake the trip. "Boy," he would say, "avoid me today. If I was superstitious, I should even beg an interest in your prayers. I'm in the black fit, the evil spirit of King Saul, the hag of the merchant of Buddha, the personal devil of the medieval monk is with me, is in me," tapping on his breast. "The vices of my nature are now uppermost. Innocent pleasures woo me in vain. I long for Paris, for my wallowings in the mire. See," he would continue, producing a handful of silver, "I denude myself. I'm not to be trusted with the price of a fare. Take it, keep it for me, squander it on deleterious candy, throw it in the deepest of the river. I will homologate your action. Save me from that part of myself which I disown. If you see me falter, do not hesitate. If necessary, wreck the train. I speak, of course, by a parable. Any extremity were better than for me to reach Paris alive." While that passage showcases the theatricality of the doctor's speech, he's also developed his own philosophy to life, which his wife and his adopted son rather have to endure. He's working on a crazy book about medicine that will never be finished, and this story really put me in mind of the work of Flaubert, particularly his Bouvard and Pécuchet with its dictionary of received ideas. So if you enjoy Flaubert, and who doesn't, you are sure, I believe, to enjoy Robert Louis Stevenson. Okay, story number 2. I've chosen one of Chesterton's Father Brown stories from this book, The Complete Father Brown Stories, and it's called The Honour of Israel Gow, and it's one of the Gothic Father Brown stories, which are my favourite. Now, if you're not aware of it, the Gothic began as an anti-Catholic genre, and Chesterton was, of course, a staunch Catholic. And what he does is effectively rewrite the Gothic. He turns it around and shows how Protestant literal-mindedness can generate mystery. And in this story, it's only Father Brown, with his rich imagination, who can unravel what has gone on in the wilds of a Scottish Calvinist village. It's shorter than The Treasure of Franchard, but it's also excellent. Okay, my last choice. I've gone with the Sherlock Holmes short story, The Musgrave Ritual, which I read in here, 2-volume collection, all 4 novels and 56 short stories. What I really like about The Musgrave Ritual, well, there are 2 things. Firstly, its structure. It has nested narration that takes us down a number of levels. So at the beginning, Holmes and Watson are going through papers of old cases and they come across an interesting one, and Holmes narrates the story to Watson. However, Holmes then has to tell how he was told the story, and then that person is telling how he learned of the story, and it takes us all the way back to a very significant historical event. And in some ways it is similar to the antiquarian ghost stories of M.R. James, although there is no ghost. It's a very short read, but it's superbly structured and I thoroughly recommend it. Okay, that's the last of my recommendations for this month. Just like last month, if you go off and check out any of these stories, please come back here and drop your reaction in the comments. I'd love to know what you made of them. Equally, if there are any stories about treasure that you know of that you think I might enjoy, leave the author's name and title in the comments and I'll take a look. And now all that remains is for me to bid you farewell. So be safe, be strong, and I shall see you anon. Nanu nanu.